Fertilizer markets are shifting fast. China may boost exports. India faces a supply crunch, and concern over U.S. tariffs are building. So, what does it all mean for global prices? I'm Johanna Bota, and here to break it all down is StoneX's Vice President of Fertilizer, Josh Linville. Welcome back, Josh. We've got a lot to cover today, so let's dive right in. There is talk that the Chinese government is planning to increase urea exports from 2 million tons to 3 million tons. So, how significant is that move, and what kind of impact could it have on global prices?
This could be big. We've got to sit there and reset ourselves and remember what was normal and then what just happened last year. Normal for Chinese urea exports is somewhere between 5 to 5.5 million tons. So folks will look at the 3 million and say, well, it's still far below what they would normally export. This is still a bullish situation. However, the other side of it's going to say 2024, China only exported 262,000 ton. So jumping to 3 million ton is going to be a major increase. That's a major new supply we hadn't counted on. And of course, it always comes down to market interpretation. Your bulls and your bears are constantly fighting each other to kind of win the day, if you will. The thing that I'm looking at is if you remember, the Israel Iranian war caused Egyptian and Iranian urea production to go offline for a couple weeks. We lost about 600,000 tons of production. Global prices jumped up triple digits as a result. There's some, myself included, sitting there saying, well, if it went up that much on losing 600,000, shouldn't we see prices down substantially with a million ton being added back to the mix? But the big thing I think that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out is the time frame of it. As we look at January through May, they've only exported 11,000 ton. This 3 million ton is a 2025 total. November, December, likely they're slowing down exports, getting ready for their own spring season once again. So we could be talking about 3 million tons trying to find homes over a very short 4 to 5 month period. That's where the weight of the market could come from.
At the same time, India's nearly filled its big urea tender, 1.5 out of 2 million tons. What does that tell you about where demand is?
Their demand is going to continue to be large. If you remember, they have struggled on their purchase tender since December. I believe there's been 4 or 5 since then, and they've fallen far short of their tonnage goal. This one, they had come out and said, we're looking for 2 million ton, a million for each coast. And folks thought they'll be lucky to get a million ton. And the first round, it sounded like they locked up 1.2, and then 1.3, and then 1.4, now nearly 1.5. That tells me there's a lot of offers looking at the marketplace and saying, India is our best sale. It's our best chance. Let's just go ahead, drop our price, commit to India because this may be the best option we have. That isn't exactly bullish because they thought the market was going to continue to go onward, upward. They're not selling to India today at these lower prices.
And let's stick with India for a moment, where actually there's growing concern around phosphate stockpiles. There's even a political fallout. How bad is the situation, and what's driving the pressure?
Yeah, it's unfortunately it's something you and I have talked about several times already. This is a storyline we've been talking for over a year. The Indian government is largely in charge of the fertilizer because it maintains a low price to the farmer, and it subsidizes the difference between global prices and farmer pricing. Well, they have tried to kind of dictate some of the movement of pricing around the world on phosphate, and they have struggled for the last year. Stockpiles have fallen. And this is something we've been warning about, saying, go back to 21. Stockpiles of phosphate got very low. Farmers started to riot. They started to pillage retail locations. It was a very, very bad situation. And we have been teetering on those low supplies once again. And again, when you're looking at a situation where your biggest supplier, China, has cut their exports by over half because of increased domestic demand, and now your biggest buyer, one of your biggest buyers, is still playing from behind, and the world knows that they are having to buy product with government money. Every time they step in to buy something, price goes up.
Yeah. And last but not least, and just to wrap things up, earlier this week, Trump threatened Russia with 100% tariffs unless Putin makes peace with Ukraine. Now, that has sparked growing concern in North America that the U.S. could impose new tariffs on Russian fertilizer. So how realistic is that risk, and what could it mean for supply and pricing at home?
It's going to hurt. If these things go through, it's going to hurt. Russia is a major exporter of nitrogen, phosphate, potash. They are the largest UAN provider to the US. They are the largest urea provider. They are the second largest potash provider. And this is for imports, not for all consumption. Domestic production, of course, is the number one. But from an outside source, they're a major player. Now, from urea, we can make a case that, well, we'll just restructure global supply flows. We'll find it from new places. Potash, you can sit there and say Canada's largest producer, we'll just get more from them. UAN is a problem. A lot of farmers watching right now in the US and Canada are probably still kind of reeling from the situation. They could not find supplies in the spring for UAN. I'm telling you, we are starting fertilizer year 26 in a worse spot. Our starting inventories lower, lowest we've ever seen. Our exports could be larger. Europe has blocked Russia. Trinidad production issues could have them turning to us for more. Our imports, if we block Russia, that's half of our imports. All of a sudden, our imports get lower. Our demand is going to continue to be high. We continue to expect big corn acres next year. It does not mean we are going to absolutely repeat the spring situation, but that difference between the start and that storyline, much narrower. It takes fewer things coming together for that to happen once again. Shutting off Russia could be a major impact to our pricing.
Well, we will have to keep an eye on those developments then. Josh, thank you so much, as always, for your great insight, and see you next week. And thank you for watching. For more financial content, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.